Hi guys, welcome to our channel. This is Django Coder. In our previous videos, we downloaded Visual Studio 2022 for both Windows and Mac OS. We also wrote and ran our very first C# program. In this video, we are going to talk about top-level statements and C# syntax. If you have coded in any other programming language, you are probably used to starting your program with import statements, class declarations, static void main, etc., etc. The main method is the method that drives the entire project, and the class containing the main method is usually referred to as driver class. However, if you remember when we started our C# Hello World program in the last video, it contained just one line of code. I was quite confused myself to see that in Visual Studio 22 when I was preparing for this series. So, here is what happened. The single line of code, known as top-level statements, is a condensed version of the original 11 lines of code that was previously seen in Program.cs when you create a new project with .NET 5.0 and all the earlier versions. Now, Program.cs is the driver class for all C# projects. The two forms are valid, the top-level statements and the traditional method of writing the 11 lines of code. They're all valid and they represent the same program. The compiler simply takes all the top-level statements, which are all the codes that you write without including program elements, and the compiler places it in a main method before compiling the code. Hence, the compiler automatically generates everything else that is needed for the code to compile and run. So you have the option of adding all these elements yourself, like using system, namespace, and declarations and main method. You can add them yourself, or you can just write your code as the top-level statement, and the main method will be generated by the compiler and everything else. So, what do these different lines of code mean? Using is the same as import in Java for those that know Java. In simple terms, it's like borrowing code from the C# library. When you're writing a project, you don't have to come up with everything from scratch. Some functionalities have already been implemented, which you can borrow and use in your code with using statements. System is the overall library, but you can always be more specific by saying system.io or system.link, etc. Hence, you can borrow the entire library by just using system, or you just borrow whichever subclass you need. Next is namespaces. Namespaces are containers for your classes and other namespaces. It simply helps you to keep things organized. And the curly braces marks the beginning and end of a code block. Next is the class. A class is like a container for your variables and methods, and you cannot write any code outside a class in C#. All your codes must be within a class or as a top-level statement in Program.cs. Okay, then console.writeLine simply prints whatever is in the bracket to the console window. And we can have multiple lines of that. We can print hello world. We're learning C# like we did in the last project, in the last video. Or we can simply type, it's a beautiful day today, or we are learning C# syntax. Okay, note that C# is not white space sensitive. Hence, you can have as many spaces as you want in between your lines of code. Next is comments. To make a comment in C#, you simply use double forward slashes. This will tell the compiler to skip that line in the execution of your code. Hence, we use comments to describe what is happening in our code to make it easier to remember whenever we revisit the code. And we can add comments to our code to say, this code will output hello world to the screen, or this is an output statement, or you can add whatever comments that you like that best describes what is happening at different parts of your code. Okay, that will be all for this video. In our next video, we will start the implementation of our shopping program that we talked about in the programming basics tutorial. So please go watch the programming basic videos if you haven't. It will really help you to understand the rest of this tutorial series. And don't forget to like and subscribe if this was helpful to you.